Hi guys. My first prediction for today's NBA games is for the game between the Raptors and the Nets. When I look at this matchup, I see two teams heading in opposite directions right now. On one side, I've got a Toronto group that looks like a legit, organized squad in the East. On the other hand, I see a Brooklyn team that's basically living in permanent garbage time. So for me, this game isn't about overthinking. It's about recognizing where both franchises are at in this moment. Toronto comes into this one at an even record, but the vibe around this team is much better than the basic numbers. Offensively, they're humming. They're living close to 120 points per night, shooting the ball efficiently from everywhere, and spreading the touches across multiple guys who can go for 20 on any given evening. Brandon Ingram has slid into that lead dog role nicely, giving them a three-level scorer who can create late in the clock and still keep everyone else involved. Then you stack on RJ Barrett and Scotty Barnes, and suddenly you've got three legit wings who can score, rebound, and put real pressure on mismatches. Emmanuel quickly has settled into his job as the engine in the backcourt, pushing pace, getting guys into their spots, and knocking down shots when teams go under screens. When Jakob Poeltl is out there, they clean the glass, protect the paint, and finish possessions like a grown-up playoff team. What I really like about this Raptors group is their shot profile. They're not just jacking bad looks. They hunt clean threes, they get downhill, and they punish defenses that overhelp. That shows in their three-point percentage. This is one of the better perimeter shooting teams in the league right now. Add in the fact that they protect the ball, and you've got a serious offensive unit facing one of the softest defenses in the association. Now let's flip it to Brooklyn. The Nets are in a brutal place. 1 win, 9 losses, and it's not just that they're losing, they're getting run off the floor. They're giving up around 125 points per game, and the efficiency they're allowing is just ugly. Opponents are shooting a high clip from the field, a high clip from three, and basically doing whatever they want. Michael Porter Jr. is putting up solid individual numbers. He's scoring in the 20s, rebounding, doing what he can as a number one option. Nick Claxton gives them some energy and production inside, but with Cam Thomas still out, Brooklyn is missing one of the few guys who can actually create his own shot and put constant pressure on a defense. Without him, it turns into a lot of give it to Porter and hope he bails us out. That's not an offense, that's survival mode. The deeper problem for the Nets is that they don't have a true floor general to settle them down, organize sets, and get consistent good looks. They're near the bottom of the league in offensive efficiency. They rely heavily on the three-point shot, even though they're not a good three-point shooting team. And they're coughing up points on the other end at a rate that screams tank season. When your owner admits before the year that this is basically a reset, what we're seeing on the floor makes perfect sense. Head-to-head, Toronto has already had Brooklyn's number, taking 3 of 4 last season. And stylistically, this matchup is rough for the Nets. The Raptors can stretch the floor, attack mismatches, and punish every defensive mistake. Brooklyn doesn't have the depth or the defensive backbone to hang for 4 quarters if Toronto comes in locked in and focused, especially after getting punched in the mouth by Philadelphia. So here's where I land on this one. The Raptors are 9-point favorites on the road with a total sitting in the mid-230s. Could Brooklyn have one of those random nights where the shots fall and they hang around? Sure, it's the league. Anything can happen. But if I'm trusting what both teams have shown over the first 10 games, I just can't get to the Brooklyn side. My prediction is simple. I'm riding with Toronto to win this game comfortably and cover the 9-point spread. Brooklyn is leaking points everywhere, still missing one of its only real scorers, and playing like a team already thinking about the lottery. Toronto looks like a serious, competitive group in the East with multiple weapons and a clear identity. That's the side I want my money on. I'm taking the Raptors to handle business and cover the handicap on the road. My second prediction for today is for the game between the Golden State Warriors and the Oklahoma City Thunder. All right, let's talk about this matchup. The Warriors are stepping into Paycom Center to face the reigning champs. And honestly, this is the kind of game that tells you what a team is made of. Golden State hasn't exactly been a road warrior this season, just 1 win away from home. And now they're facing a Thunder squad that's been rolling through everyone. Still, something about this game feels different. Oklahoma City has been a machine early in the season. 10 wins in 11 games. Best defense in the league. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander playing like he's trying to repeat as MVP. He's been unstoppable, dropping over 30 points in almost every outing, taking games over when it matters most. Even when the Thunder start slow, like they did in Memphis, they find another gear, storming back from a double-digit hole to win comfortably. This team's depth is scary. Hartenstein's putting up double-doubles. Aj Mitchell's been lights out. And Chet Holmgren continues to anchor the paint like a 7-foot spider with perfect timing. But here's the thing. Golden State is still Golden State. They might not have the same young legs, but they've got experience, chemistry, and that killer instinct when the lights are brightest. Steph Curry's expected back tonight after missing time with illness, and that changes everything. The Warriors just play with a different swagger when he's on the floor. Spacing improves, rhythm returns, and defenses panic the moment he crosses half court. When Curry's cooking, you can forget about any so-called road disadvantage. Jimmy Butler's been doing a solid job keeping this group steady, and the bench guys like Will Richard and Brandon Podziemski are finding their rhythm. They just snapped a 2-game skid with a 31-point blowout against Indiana, which, even if it came against a shorthanded team, is the kind of confidence booster they needed before this road stretch. The big concern for me, interior defense. If Al Horford doesn't suit up, the Warriors will be thin up front, and that's where OKC can really hurt you. Holmgren and Hartenstein feast on mismatches, and the Thunder's pace at home can wear down even the most disciplined veterans. Still, I've followed this league long enough to know when a veteran team smells an opportunity. Golden State gets up for games like this. The stage, the challenge, the noise. I don't think they're coming to Oklahoma City to roll over. Steph's return gives them a jolt, and I expect them to hang tough, trading blows with the champs. My prediction, I'm rolling with the Warriors to cover the 8.5-point spread. I know OKC's been untouchable at home, but this feels like a spot where the experience and pride of the Warriors shine through. They might not win outright, but they'll make the Thunder earn every bucket. Give me the points and the veterans from Golden State. The third prediction for today is for the game between the Indiana Pacers and the Utah Jazz. We've got the Indiana Pacers rolling into Salt Lake City to take on the Utah Jazz, and I'll be honest with you right from the jump, this is not a pretty matchup. This is that classic early season grinder where both teams are trying to stop the bleeding. But ugly games are often where we find value. And for me, this spot points toward Indiana. The number is short, around 1.5 points in favor of the Pacers, and I'm going to walk you through why I'm comfortable laying that with the road team. Let me start with Utah. The Jazz come into this one worn down and frustrated. They just had a big emotional game against Minnesota, looking for revenge after getting blown out, and now they have to turn around and play again immediately. That second night in a row, especially at altitude, hits players in the legs, in the decision-making, in the fourth quarter energy. On top of that, this is not the same Jazz team defensively that we saw in past years. They are giving up well over 120 points per night, and their efficiency numbers tell the same story. Opponents are getting clean looks inside and outside, and Utah is constantly playing from behind. Offensively, the Jazz have names, but they live in the bottom part of the league in almost every shoot-ing category. Their field goal percentage is among the worst. Their three-point percentage is near the basement, and too many possessions end in forced jumpers late in the clock. Lauri Markkanen and Keontae George can fill it up. I respect their talent, but they're having to work through heavy defensive attention without Walker Kessler anchoring the paint on the other end. Jusuf Nurkic helps on the glass, but this group still feels out of rhythm, and the results show it. A stretch loaded with losses, including some games that weren't even competitive in the fourth quarter. Now let's flip it to Indiana. The Pacers are in a brutal stretch of their own. They have lost 9 of their last 10. They are coming off a nasty loss at Golden State, and the injury report looks like a full page. No, Tyrese Halliburton, several key rotation guys out, are doubtful. That scares a lot of people away from them. But when I handicap a game like this, I look beyond the surface record. This team still has structure. Pascal Siakam is expected back in the lineup, and whenever he's on the floor, he gives them a go-to option in the half court. Andrew Nembhard has quietly done a solid job running the offense, and they've shown flashes even in defeat, like hanging around with Milwaukee and beating Golden State in their better moments. What really keeps me interested in the Pacers here is the defensive profile. For a team with such a bad overall record, they actually defend the perimeter very well. They allow one of the lowest three-point percentages in the league and give up very few made threes per 100 possessions. They also clean the defensive glass at a strong rate, which is huge on the road. If you are going to trust a short favorite in a tough building, you want a team that can close possessions, not give up endless second chances. Indiana checks that box. On top of that, the situational angle is clearly on the Pacers' side. Indiana is rested and desperate. Utah is tired and stuck in a bad run of form. Back-to-back fatigue usually shows up on defense first, and we are talking about a defense that already has cracks all over it. If the Pacers can keep their turnovers under control and let Siakam attack mismatches, this game suddenly tilts their way. The history between these two also leans to Indiana. They have taken 3 of the last 4 head-to-head, including a blowout win last season, so there is no psychological barrier here. Do I expect a beautiful offensive showcase? No. This has all the ingredients of a lower-scoring scrap where every possession matters. But in that type of game, I trust the team with the fresher legs, the better rebounding numbers, and the more disciplined perimeter defense. For me, that is Indiana. So when I put it all together, Utah on tired legs, a leaky defense, a struggling offense, and an Indiana team that still has enough structure, pride, and matchup edges even with all the injuries, I know where I want my money. Here, I'm going to play the Indiana Pacers to win this game and cover the 1.5 point spread. That is my call for this matchup. My last prediction for today is for the game, the Nuggets versus the Kings. Man, the Kings are in trouble right now. Sacramento just doesn't look like a team that knows who it is. They've dropped 7 of their first 10, and what's worse, they've been getting blown off their own floor. That Minnesota loss, 144-117, wasn't just ugly, it was a statement. The Timberwolves controlled the tempo, exposed the Kings' soft spots on defense, and had them chasing shadows all night. Before that, OKC ran them out of the gym, too. You can tell the frustration is building. This team just can't get stops. Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan are putting up points, sure, but it's all empty calories when you're giving up 130 a night. Domantas Sabonis is fighting through that rib discomfort and still pulling down double-doubles. But without Keegan Murray and with such poor defensive rotations, Sacramento is getting torched inside and out. They're second to last in defensive rating for a reason. Even at home, they look lost once the opponent starts swinging the ball and attacking their interior. Now, Denver walks into this matchup looking like a well-oiled machine. 4 straight wins, sitting near the top of the West, and doing it with that calm, surgical precision only Jokic can orchestrate. He's in full MVP mode, averaging a triple-double with 25 points, 13 boards, and nearly 12 dimes per game. Against Indiana, he put up a ridiculous 32-14-14 in just 31 minutes. That's video game stuff. And let's not forget the last time these two met. Jokic shredded Sacramento for 34 points and 14 assists. The Nuggets' chemistry is humming, even with Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon listed as day-to-day. Their bench keeps producing, and their ball movement is beautiful to watch. They lead the league in field goals made and rank top 5 in offensive efficiency. That's not an accident. This group knows exactly how to pick apart a defense. And the Kings' defense? That's exactly the kind of matchup Jokic feasts on. Denver's road record isn't perfect, but look who they've faced. Golden State, Portland, Minnesota. All quality teams. Sacramento simply isn't on that level right now. They're lacking rhythm, cohesion, and confidence. Meanwhile, Denver has been playing championship basketball, disciplined, unselfish, and relentless. Unless Sacramento suddenly discovers a defensive identity overnight, I don't see how they slowed down this Denver offense. Even if Sabonis suits up, Jokic is going to control the paint, set the pace, and make the Kings chase the game from the jump. I expect Denver to come out aggressive early, put the Kings on their heels, and keep that scoreboard humming. My prediction is that the Denver Nuggets win this game and cover the 7.5 point spread. I'm backing the champs to handle business, extend their win streak, and remind everyone why they're still the gold standard in the West.